All right, YouTube, I was just going to document this, and I'm a little excited. I got ahead of myself. So basically, we're going to be replacing the starter on this 2005 Kawasaki VN2000A to show you the process. So far, like I said, I got ahead of myself. You need to take off the top exhaust, and these two right here look just like this. They come off with a 12 millimeter. And then the other exhaust bolts, there's one right here and one over here. Those came off with a 14 millimeter, and I used a ratcheting wrench to get back there and be efficient. I don't think there's enough space back there to put a socket or nothing, so you'll have to use a wrench. I'm on to undo the battery and then take these two bolts out, and then we'll disconnect this. Now let's see what it needs. It looks like maybe a 5. I think it's 5. Yep. So 5 millimeter Allen key, and then we'll go ahead and take her off. That was on there. So it's a little bit. We'll get this out. Sorry to get out fingers, but there's just not a lot of room above to twist this on the engine. So I'm replacing my starter because it started making a whirring sound whenever I would start it. And it was just intermittent, and I think that I convinced myself it's the starter. If it's not the starter, then somebody in the forum said, you look behind this, don't mind the condensation. You look behind this right here, take these bolts out, and there's a basically like a shaft in there. They get stuck and doesn't engage. But I'm hearing a whirring sound, so I feel like the maybe the gears on the end of this are all chewed up or something, so we'll see. After you got both those bolts out, you're going to need to take yourself a flat head or just something flat to get up underneath there. Be able to take this cover off. Then you'll have access to the nut that is on this. And then once you get that out, you should be able to pull the starter right out, put your new one in, to reverse order. All right, I went ahead and pulled on the starter a little bit, popped it out. I don't know if you can see back there, but I popped it out. So this right here is a 10 millimeter, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. I probably should have taken this off before removing it, so that's what I'm gonna do. There it is. It's out. It doesn't look horrible, but not really sure that there's supposed to be oil on the side of that. We'll go ahead and put this little piece down over there. I got a new one, so this is what the old starter looks like. I had to order one off of eBay. I mean, it's moving. The shaft doesn't look horrible, but I wonder if there's something else going on, maybe something on the inside. Either way, I've got a new starter, and I keep this one just in case. All right, so now reverse order. Get this. When I looked at it, it looked all in pretty good shape. This one feels like it does move a little bit smoother back and forth. So maybe there's the gear or whatever that's inside of here is messed up. But I'll go ahead and take this little piece off. I'm gonna get me some clippers to take this tag off. Bugs on top of the starter. When you put it on, it's worth noting, make sure that you angle this wire back that way a little bit. Don't make it go so straight. I just had to pop it off and readjust. I just don't want my wires making a hard turn. This is a pretty thick wire, but anyway, should just be able to find where we're at here. Push it in there, rock it back and forth like I did before. It might be a little bit stiff, but you get it in there just a little bit and then wiggle it some more, move it back and forth, and eventually it'll pop forward. And now we are lined up. We are ready to put in these bolts. So make sure you get them on there tight, because once you get that exhaust back on, you're not going to have access to it again. So got a hole here and a hole there for here, and then you got these right here. Not really sure the best way to do this, but I'm just going to go for it. Grab one of these guys, kind of start it here. These were not on tight at all, really. Not really sure how tight you're supposed to put them. Like, it didn't take much at all to get it off. I know on that Yamaha over there, the bolts for it were pretty hard on there, but I think that's because, I mean, it's the same year as this bike, but it's got 100,000 miles on it. I think all the rust and corrosion and everything on there basically welded them on. But this one's going to be hard. There's not very much access. I suppose you could probably take this off. I'm not trying to do all that, so we will make do with what we've got. Put that there. I should get my flashlight. There we go. All right, I didn't catch the last of that because it was a hassle. Basically, you need to rest this pipe on top of the other pipe and get it at such an angle where you can freely move these nuts here, because it's kind of difficult to get them squared away. Your socket's going to get stuck on it and shit. It's going to go into this. This sticks out a little bit, so it's going to be hitting against your socket and it'll get stuck. So that bottom sucks. Obviously the top's pretty easy. Like I said, you should probably replace the donut inside here. I did not. And then these suck to line up. There's this little piece that sits on the inside, little threads on the inside that sits on a little block, and it's kind of difficult to line it up without seeing it because it's not fixed. It's not in a fixed spot. So you have to put that bolt through there, line that little block up inside this little piece on both of these, and it kind of sucks. But anyways, obviously the bike started up. Wasn't too hard of a job. Seemed to start pretty good for me. All right. See you guys in the next one.